So probably for the past like 6 to 8 months, I have not really eaten any fat. Like if I do eat fat, it's a very tiny amount, and for the most part, I eat completely fat-free. And I do that because my body lets me know if I do eat fat, like I can have it once in a while in tiny, tiny amounts and sort of get away with it, let's say. But if I eat it like a few days in a row or consistently for any period of time, my body says, no, not okay. I will get a migraine. I will feel lethargic and gross and tired and yucky, and pain will come into my body. All kinds of stuff. Not worth it. It's fine. Like I'm okay with that because for the purposes of my liver, I want to keep it fat-free anyway. However, there was this holiday. We call it Christmas. Anyway, my son's been a little down wanting to have like different kinds of foods and stuff like that, like more variety. I get kind of in a habit where I make kind of the same foods over and over, and I don't mind it at all, but my son minds it, and he's like, I want something different. And we had bought a little piece of salmon and a little piece of whitefish and some ground beef for the dog and the cat as their Christmas dinner. Because we thought, oh, we'll get them a special meal. You know, the cat has never had fish ever in his life. We've given him, he has these little freeze-dried minnows that he loves, but he hasn't had salmon or whitefish. So we got him a little piece of each. And is it called the fishmonger? The person at the market who sells the meat and the fish, he said, oh, there's these two pieces, you want to get these kinds because a lot of people get this for their cats. So we're like, yeah, okay. So it's just like a little piece of each. Anyway, as I'm cooking it, my son's like, what does that smell? And I said, it's fish. We're cooking salmon and whitefish for the dog and the cat. And he's like, I want a taste of what that smells. And I said, okay. So I broke it into 3 pieces and I gave him, because the pieces were organic, wild caught. Like it's stuff I would feed us. Like this is what we buy for our cat and dog, stuff we would eat. Well, some people in my family would eat. I gave half to the cat and dog and half to my son. And he's like, oh, this is good. I really want like a proper meal of it. And so we were like, okay, well, we'll get like a proper half of a fillet of salmon and we'll make a meal. So, and I thought, you know what, maybe I'll have some too. I think it's been at least 18 months, maybe whatever, and since I've had meat or fish. And I don't know, I don't think of myself as vegan. I don't think of myself as not vegan. I don't think of myself, I'm just plant-based and I just eat the healing foods. And I thought, well, for Christmas, I'll just have like one bit of salmon. The salmon fillet was big enough that it basically cut into 4 pieces. So for a meal, I had a piece the night before we all had it as a family. And it was very interesting to see what it felt like, because salmon's not a living food like a plant is. When you cook it and you eat it, it feels like what it is. Like it feels neutral when I ate it. Like it didn't feel like a living food, and it didn't feel even like a living food that had been cooked. It just felt like it tasted good, but it's just sort of taking up space in my body. And I didn't get a headache, but I did sort of feel it a little bit. Like it just didn't, I don't know, I was like, whatever. But it did taste really good. So I did have it again the next night. And I made it with like dill and lemon and salt. It was tasty. Yeah, after I ate it, I was kind of like, whatever. But the next night after I ate it, I did feel it. My head started to hurt just a little bit, and I felt it in my teeth. Here's a weird fun fact for you. My teeth have long been like, I don't know what it is, but when something is off about something, it's like I feel it in my teeth. And a lot of times when I was going to react to something, I would feel it in my teeth. When I was much sicker before. I don't know why that is, honestly. But it felt like I could feel the mercury from the fish in my teeth. Now, obviously, I didn't eat the skin, of course, because that's where most of it, as my understanding, most of it gets stored. But mercury is just, I mean, it's going to be also stored just in the fat of a fish, and salmon is kind of a fattier fish. But if you're going to eat fish, it's like one of the healthier ones. I don't know. But I'm not even sure that's true anymore. I think it used to be true, but because of what's going on in the Pacific Ocean with the Pacific garbage patch and what's going on with Fukushima and all of the radiation in the water, I think because animal flesh soaks up radiation more than other things, I don't know. I'm not sure that there's any safe fish to eat, honestly. And I ate it anyway. But I thought, oh, once a year, you know, maybe it'll be okay. But it really kind of wasn't okay. So anyway, I really did feel it after that second day. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting, because I felt it in my head. I was having like kind of the start of migraine behind my eye. That's where they always start. And that feeling of my teeth, like I was like, you know the feeling, I don't know, if you've ever had a mercury filling and then you bite down on aluminum. When we were kids, we used to try those with gum wrappers. I don't know why. It was a weird thing to do. And you get like a zap through your head when you do it. It was like really dumb. Anyway, I think I might have tried it once. But anyway, it's kind of like a little bit like that. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's not an uncomfortable feeling. So I was feeling like that, and then also just kind of feeling just off in general, just kind of off. And so for some reason the next day I made, I guess kind of like in advance of doing the 369 cleanse, I made the falafel salad, and I had it, and I actually had it with the tahini dressing, which has just a little bit of fat in it, but seemed like it was enough. And my body was like, don't do this. Like, don't do this right now. This is not a good choice. But it was after I ate it. Like, so I was realizing, like, I could sort of feel it. Like, there's a little bit of pain in my, I don't know, abdominal area, but it was kind of like maybe where my intestines are. I'm not sure. And nothing was like severe. I honestly think that like probably most people wouldn't have noticed any of this, but I'm so all the time tuned into my body and always listening because of being somebody who's like chemically sensitive and who had to be so hyper aware all the time of my environment and what was in it and what could be triggering me and what could be going on. I have that hyper awareness in my body. I'm always like really tuned in, like, am I okay? Am I okay? And I just still have that. Although now it's not fearful and it's not frantic and I don't freak out, it's just, I'm just aware. Like, I'm always sort of tuned in, like, are you okay with this? Because I also knew that probably I shouldn't be eating fat 3 days in a row. Like, I know better. And I was kind of a little bit in like an experimental mindset, like, what'll happen? Well, here's what'll happen. Your body will say, don't do that. And I just wanted to share it because it was really interesting to notice, like, that I felt it. Like, when I ate the salmon, I felt it in my teeth, I felt it in my head, and then later on, when it was processed through my body more, then I felt it in my gut, and I was like, yeah, I promise I won't do it again. I'm sorry. And I was like, I don't think it's worth even having once a year for Christmas. This does not feel good to me around this, so I'm probably not going to do it again. And I did it, so why not use it as a learning opportunity for my own self, right? Like, hey, sometimes we do things that we kind of know maybe aren't in our best interest, and we can see the consequences of those things pretty much right away, like within 3 days. And I'm still, because it's only been a couple days, I still am, was feeling some effects like this morning, and I think I still am. So it's good to use that experience and notice it so that you have that contrast and go, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. That's why I don't do that. I remember now. Even though I hadn't ever had that kind of an experience with salmon before, and I used to eat it all the time, but it's like, yeah, but then I got a lot cleaner in my eating, and my body cleaned up, and my liver cleaned up more, and is cleaning up more. And then I started to realize, like, oh, that was definitely affecting me, all that fat from that salmon. And so, yeah, it was a good learning opportunity. It's good for me to know, like, whoa, So this is what happens when I try to eat salmon. I guess maybe I kind of am vegan. I don't know. Because I don't want to do that again. That was literally like, I already don't eat any of the other meats. I don't eat beef or turkey or anything else like that for sure. I'm like, I guess that was it. That was my last foray. That's okay. I don't mind. I like feeling good after I eat. And so I'm just going to keep eating the foods that make me feel good. And that did not. It was almost like, honestly, okay, I don't care. You're going to, whatever, it's woo, it's a little woo, but honestly, it was like I could sort of feel the energetic, it was like I was eating that energetic vibration of like the ocean that it swam in, which obviously the ocean is really powerful and in general a high vibe place, but when it's totally polluted with the Pacific garbage patch and with the radiation and with all of the other, I don't even know what's in it, you know, like people drop entire ships and oil tankers and airplanes in the ocean and all that stuff's in there and all the oil and all the everything. And it's like it tasted like that. To be clear, medical medium never says like you can't eat flesh or anything like that. He just says it's not a healing food, but it's not a food that feeds pathogens either. Well, some, like pork does, and eggs do, but like grass-fed ground beef or wild-caught salmon, or he said there's even some kinds of whitefish that are good, I think, presumably because they're lower in fat, and, you know, if it's wild-caught Atlantic whitefish or something. I'm not really even sure. And wild turkey, I think, is okay, you know, obviously free range because it's wild. So things like that, but they don't feed pathogens. They're more of like a neutral, so they don't have any like living energy to them, and often they will have like the adrenaline of the animal as it died, which is really not good because, you know, adrenaline does feed pathogens. Anyway, he doesn't say you can't eat it, but he does say, you know, keep it to a minimum because you really want to keep that fat out. But I'm telling you, how I feel when I eat it is not like when you know what it feels like to just eat plants all the time and you eat other foods, it just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good in your body. It's kind of like, that didn't make me feel good. So anyway, that's how I feel about it. And I'm not saying you need to feel that way, and I'm not trying to say anybody else does. It's just, it's how I'm feeling. I think I might be the V word. I never thought I'd say that. But I think it's true. I just do. I think it is. Because I don't like it. I don't like how it feels in my body. I like those high vibe plant foods and how they make me feel. So one more step on my journey, I guess. One more surprising step on my path. So that is my story about salmon and fat. Yay for the salmon, because they don't have any fear from me. And they're overfished anyway. We probably should stop eating salmon. Let them regrow their population and just leave them for the bears, you know? Okay, this mama bear is done. I'm gonna go for the berries and not the salmon. Hey, have there been any foods that you have found yourself surprised that you no longer want? Have you tried a thing where you were like, oh, it's gonna be so good, and it was so good when you tasted it, but then when you afterwards you were like, it's not that good. I don't want this anymore. Tell me about it in the comments below. I really want to hear your stories. I love hearing from you guys. I really do. Hey, if you're on a phone and you don't know this, because apparently some people don't, it took me forever to figure it out, so maybe you don't know either. But if you're on a phone and you want to leave a comment, at least on Android, I know if you just scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, that's where the comments are for some reason. I don't know why they do it that way. I guess because they just want you to click a video and not spend your time leaving comments. But I want you to spend your time leaving comments. So I'll tell you the secret. Thank you so much for watching, my healers and health seekers. Oh, I love you so, 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 so much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up below. You can subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button if you want to be notified when I post a new video. I definitely try to post once a week, if not more. You know I love you. I love you. Stay curious, my healers and health seekers. I love you so, 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 so much. And blessings on your continued healing journey. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.